All right, so if you're a fitness coach and you feel like you are always hunting for clients, you feel like you can never actually get ahead, that every single month you're waking up, every single week you're waking up and just trying to figure out how am I going to get clients, how do I actually get people into the program, and you can never really hit that critical mass where your program starts to take off and you have a consistent 15, 20, 25 people on the roster, then you really need to watch this video. In this video, what I'm going to do for you is I'm going to break down a really important conversation about supply and demand. We're going to talk about how do you actually reach that point where your program takes off, you have a stable roster full of people that are there for the long term, that they're there to continue staying, paying, referring, the business feels stable, the business feels great, revenue levels off. Like, how do we actually create that stability, predictability, and consistency that you actually want inside of your business, inside of your program? So for those of you who are new here, by the way, my name is Tel. I'm the owner of Content Clients, and I've been building online fitness coaching businesses since 2016. 2016, I dropped out of college. I started an online fitness coaching business. That business eventually turned into a gym in 2019, and it wasn't all the way until 2021, after I've already been doing this for half a decade, that I got into the business coaching space. And so at this point, I've helped a few hundred online fitness coaches reach their first 3, 5, 10, 25K months. And so everything that I share with you here on this channel is just from my own personal experience, my own businesses, and with all the people that I've helped. And so with that being said, I want to go ahead and dive into this. Excuse me. There's a very important conversation to be had here today. Just earlier this morning, actually, I had a client reach out to me and just say, hey, basically she asked me a question. Specifically, it was about like paid versus free challenges. She's getting ready to do a challenge and she had this question of like, hey, should I do it paid? Should I do it free? Where should I actually host this thing? I'm thinking about doing it on my Instagram. I'm thinking about doing it in a WhatsApp channel. Maybe I could do it in my fitness app. And there's just a lot of conversations. And so this video, I'm shooting it for her, but I also wanted to put this up on my channel because I think this is an important conversation as a whole. Because underneath all the layers, the question that is really being asked is probably the question that you also have as well, which is how do I, again, get my program to that critical mass where things are trending well, things feel predictable, things feel stable, they feel consistent, and that my revenue is not just this up and down spike. It's not where I'm like signing a few clients here and there and then having a few clients fall off, that the business really just kind of seems to constantly reach this place where it always, maybe takes off a little bit, but it seems like it always falls back. This is the trend that so many fitness coaches, again, I've been doing this for the last decade, and I've just seen this trend happen time and time and time again. I've been in that place also for my own business. And so this video is not going to be overly long, but this is a very important conversation that we need to have, all right? So if we go all the way back to like business 101, econ 101, all right, at its like most basic first principles, this is super important. We have to understand this stuff. When you go all the way down through the layers, this is really the conversation that we're having, which is one of supply and demand. So on the demand side, over here on the left-hand side of the screen, we have demand. So I'm just gonna like break these things down again, like at a really like first principles, like as basic as we can go with this stuff, all right? So stick with me here if this seems like overly simplified. When it comes to demand, what we're really talking about here for you inside of your coaching business is how many people actually want to coach with you. All right, like if you were to put out a call to action today of like, hey, I'm looking for clients here in the month of April, how many people would actually hit you up and would actually want to talk to you and would actually want to learn more about your program? If the answer to that is, hey, I would put out a hard call to action and I would have 30, 40, 50 people hit me up, then it means that you have a high demand program. It means that you're somewhere up here in the upper ranges. For most coaches, however, the issue is that when they would put something out like that, they would not get the response that they actually want, right? They wouldn't have a ton of people that would actually reach out to them, which means that they actually have low demand, all right? So their demand is more down here on the curve. And so what that means is that they have more supply. So when it comes to supply, demand is just literally how many people actually want the service or the program or the thing that you have. Supply means how much space do you actually have for clients this month? So if you're a person that's like, hey, I have high demand, let's say I have like, let's just come up with the number. Let's just say you have like 50 people. All right, that's really bad. Let me actually drag this out of the way. Let's say you have like 50 people. All right, 50 people who would be interested in your coaching. The question now becomes, do you actually have the time, the capacity, the systems, the processes, the capability of actually taking on all 50 people? Well, let's say like you are, more of like a solo business owner at the moment, and you're like, no, actually, I really only have the capacity to take on like 5 people, 5 out of those 50 people, this week or whatever. And so you would actually be limited by your supply. You literally just don't have enough coaching spaces to be able to fill and to be able to bring on these 50 people. And so this would actually be like a problem that'd be a little bit more fun to solve, right? For most coaches, again, it's like they would love to be in this position where there are more people, there's more demand than they have supply. There are more people that want to join the program than they can even take on. But again, the problem is that for most people, this is the opposite, all right? The issue is that there's like, 0 to 2 people that are interested, and they're sitting here being like, hey, I have the systems, the processes, the capability, I need money, I need revenue or whatever that looks like, and I really need like 5 to 10 clients. And so then the question becomes is like, how do we actually create this world? How do we actually flip this around to where demand is going up? So for most people, again, if you're a coach who has just like a ton of demand and the capability to be able to bring on a ton of people, your system and process probably looks something a little bit like this, right? There's all this demand, but you really only have so much supply. Maybe you're sitting like right here on the axis, but for a lot of coaches, what it actually looks like is their demand is low. They have, but they have a bunch of supply. All right, so let me erase this stuff. This is all getting messy. And so in an ideal world, it's like, how do we actually solve this problem? In an ideal world, let's see here if I can delete this. There we go, delete that. In an ideal world, what we're really looking for is to create high demand, high supply. And so like, how do we create this world here, right? Where demand is taking off and we have the systems to be able to take on that many people as well. So the conversation really, to get to the point of this video, the conversation really for this morning, as I'm talking to this coach, the conversation really is one of, if you want to create a program that is in high demand, at the end of the day, like full stop, all right, at the end of the day, full stop, the thing that matters most is that people are getting results inside of your program. And that might seem very overly simplified, but I'm telling you, I've helped hundreds of coaches over the years. And the reason why their coaching program never actually takes off is because people don't get great results inside of their program. And the conversation here is not that they are necessarily bad coaches. The conversation is not necessarily that these are bad people. It's not that these people don't have good intentions. It's not that these people are scammers or anything like that. It's just the raw reality is that people don't get great results inside of their program. I have said, time and time again, it's like getting sales. Once you really start to get this stuff and understand today's conversation, getting sales is not the difficult part. All right. People that have problems want help. Like if you could give your ideal client a magic wand right now, I guarantee you every single person would wave that thing. And if that magic wand could get them in better shape, like instantly, everyone would wave that thing. All right. As much as the body positivity movement, was like this big thing the last several years, there's not a single person that if you could give them a magic wand that they could wave and they would instantly get in better shape. There's not a single person who would not do that. Everybody wishes to be in better shape. And so this is important to understand. It's like people want to be in shape. People want to feel better about themselves. People want to be more confident. People who are not in shape want to be in better shape. We have to this is like fundamental. And so the question really becomes like, okay, why are they not joining my program then? And it comes down to several different things. Number one is this person possibly has an unhealthy mindset. All right. This person has an unhealthy mindset. They are still in a victim mindset. They are still in a head place where, yes, they want to be in better shape, but they still have a victim mentality around all of that. And so that's why they're not joining your program. They don't feel like they deserve to be in shape. They don't feel like they deserve to feel good about themselves. They don't feel like they deserve to have confidence in themselves. They don't feel like they deserve nice things for themselves. And unfortunately, these are people that I do not recommend trying to serve. These are just going to be difficult people to serve, because you can't help somebody that is not ready for change. But I would say that this is much less people than what a lot of coaches cop out and just say, well, I guess just people don't want to get results. And that's going to be a conversation we're going to have here in a second. The other more likely scenario, I would say this is going to be like 10 to 20% of people that you run into. So it's not that high percentage of people. 80 to 90% of people, the real reason why you have low demand for your program is they do not believe you will get them results. All right. Just at the end of the day, they just literally don't believe that you can actually get them results, and that's why they're not going to join your program. And again, it has nothing to do with, none of this that I'm saying has anything to do with, it shouldn't be making you feel insecure. I'm not trying to attack your confidence. I'm not trying to attack your coaching skills or anything like that. It's just quite literally at the end of the day, if we want to get completely logical and reverse engineer this all the way down to the exact thought that is actually the real belief that is in their minds, they just don't believe that you're actually going to get them results. Whether they believe that they can't get results, they can't be consistent, and so joining your program is just going to lead to them not getting results, or if they just believe that you're incapable of getting them results, in some way, shape, or form, they do not believe that if they join your program that they will actually get results. And so that's the issue that we're really battling against, is how do we actually get people to believe that we can get them results? And so this leads us to a place, it leads us to a conversation. The reality of growing your business is it is going to more than likely look something a little bit like this. I was hoping that'd be a little bit more rounded, but I think you get the idea. The reality is that growing your business is going to look a little bit more something like this. All right. And what I mean is it is going to be a thing. Let me delete this. It is going to be a thing where in the beginning, you fight like crazy for every single one of your clients that you get. All right. It is a big uphill battle to actually get a client, to actually get them convinced and persuaded and just believing. I don't mean any of that in weird ways, but just getting them to a point where they actually believe that you can actually help them. In the beginning, that is one of the most difficult parts. If you have less than, let's say, 10 or 15 clients right now, one of the biggest uphill battles for you at the moment is just getting people to that place where they believe that you can actually get them results. once you have a bunch of clients in your program and you have all kinds of client results and like, text messages you can screenshot and things that you can share with people, this conversation starts to get a little bit easier, and we can begin to build demand. And so what this really means is that in the beginning, so many coaches, they're worried about all of these things. What's going to be the best way to get leads, and what's going to be the best way to close somebody, and what's going to be the best way to create content, and what's the best viral hooks, and all these things. They're worried about all of these client signing things. And really the conversation is not about anything to do with sales and client signing. The conversation, the real conversation is that for every client that you actually do get in this moment, you have to absolutely go to war for them and get them results. This is the problem to be solving, that your program needs to actually get people results. And what I mean by that is, again, this is not a conversation about your skill. This is not a conversation about you needing to go get more certifications or anything like that. This conversation, let's minimize this, put that up here. This conversation is that your program does not pop off until you reach the point of doing whatever it takes to get people results. The industry as a whole right now is in this place where they are super worried about scalability. They're super worried about automations. They're super worried about AI. They're super worried about like, how do I make the most amount of money while doing the least amount of work and putting the least amount of effort in? And so this is the part of the conversation that probably I'm going to start to get a lot of drop off in this video. People are going to click away from this because the reality of the conversation is that this is going to take a lot of work. Your program is not going to actually pop off until you are willing to start getting on calls that are not scheduled, getting on more calls than you wish that you had to get on, where you are going to start like, until you're ready to start like messaging people more, to actually call your clients out, to create new programs or new resources, or to literally just sit down with people and to meet them where they're at and to figure out, this might not be the most ideal way to do things, but this is going to be the plan that's going to make the most sense for this given specific situation or this specific person. This is the reason why so many coaches never actually reach that place, because what you really want to do, so many coaches, they're stuck in this place where they're looking for the formula, they're looking for the system, they're looking for the process, and this stuff is so important for sure. 100%. Like, you want to be trying to create some structure and some discipline and some order and some routine in your business. But this is a piece that cannot be necessarily like this can't really be turned into like a tactic or a strategy. It's literally an identity piece for you as the coach. It is an effort piece for you as the coach of like, when you reach that place where you are ready to actually get people results is when your program is going to start taking off. And again, I know this sounds so overly simplified, but there are so many coaches that struggle to ever actually get above the 15 client mark inside of their program. And this is the reason, because when they do get clients, they just literally don't help the client enough to actually get them a result. And so then the client inevitably just turns over. And so what they do is they create this world where they get 5, 6, 7, 8 clients, somebody drops off, then they replace them with a new sale. Next month they get 2 sales, but then 2 people drop off as well. Then the next month they get no sales and 1 person drops off. Then the next week they push hard and they get 3 sales, but then 2 more people drop off. And they just play this game where it's just a roller coaster. It's an up and down. It's a back and forth. It's a yo-yo. And it all comes back to the coach. It comes back to the coach and them not understanding this conversation where some of this stuff is not necessarily a tactic, is not necessarily a strategy. You just literally have to be willing to get in the trenches with your client and to do whatever it takes to get them results. And again, just as a reminder, like, this does start to take off, all right? This is not a forever thing, all right? This does start to take off, and you're going to reach a critical mass point where your program starts to have enough people, where you've got enough client results, the community's taking off, there's enough people in there where things are really taking off. But like in the beginning, again, if right now that you are like really struggling with this feast or famine, you're hunting for clients, you can never get enough clients, a few people join up, a few people fall off, this is the conversation for you. Like, you are stuck like down here. All right. Like, you're down here and like your program is just probably going something kind of like this. It like peaks and it dips. All right. And it never actually like takes off fully like this. And this is the conversation for you, is that you're in a place where you're literally going to have to like push through this place to get onto the other side. And that's 100% okay. And the reason I'm shooting this video is because I believe that so much of the voice in the industry, the online make money coaching space as a whole, is that everything right now is about scalability. It's about AI. It's about putting the right systems in place. Oh, you need more certifications and things like that. And I'm here to say, it's like, it's not that. Like, that stuff is great. That stuff is important. Like, I teach my clients all that stuff. There's something to be said about, getting the right things and structures in place for your business. But the real conversation here is that, like, you just like if we just pull back and just think about this logically for a second, if you are actually getting people results, they will stay a part of your program. And so like that's what we need to do. We just literally need to get people results so that they stay part of the program, so that your income begins to stack, that your roster begins to stack, that we have more client proof and client results to be able to take back to our social media and to show people that your confidence and your conviction in yourself and in your business actually begins to build, and that the confidence that other people have in you as well and your ability to get them results begins to build as well. This is the issue. And basically what I'm trying to do inside of this video is that if you are experiencing this right now, to just let you know that like, hey, it's not necessarily that like you are completely, like you like suck as a coach, or that, you know, you need some new like fancy AI automated system, or that you need to go out and, you know, get a setter or hire a content agency or like anything like that. All right. You're literally just in a hard part of business. And for sure, there's things that we can do to help you through this process. But like also, you just have to accept that this is just a hard, difficult stage of business, and you just got to grind through this stage. So hopefully this is helpful, and I'll see you in the next one.